Bringing society to a better understanding of itself can be seen as the goal of most art, film included. Whether it be second to providing a piece of entertainment or the main purpose, it makes the audience question their society and highlights the pressing matters within it. This is present in the science fiction genre as filmmakers create worlds that are similar to ours yet differ by their novum to form a social allegory. Introduced by film critic Darko Suvin, the novum is an innovation that is scientifically plausible. It greatly influences the diegetic universe separating from our own. Many subgenres of science fiction have emerged, each with their own conventions and style, one of which is cyberpunk. It features highly advanced and futuristic technology in a dystopian society. Quote, on one side you have powerful megacorporations and private security forces, while on the other you have the dark, gritty underworld of illegal trade, gangs, drugs, and vice. Unquote. The dichotomy of high-tech and low-life is often present as, quote, the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed, unquote. Cyberpunk films also form social allegories, often which revolve around the ideas of technophobia and, quote, the highlighting the dangers of a high-tech society, unquote. The implementation of cyberpunk conventions to explore the dangers of technology and technophobia can be seen in two examples: Blade Runner, directed by Ridley Scott in 1982, and Upgrade, directed by Leigh Whannell in 2018. Blade Runner is set in a dystopian version of Los Angeles featuring a conflict between humans and androids known as replicants. There is a large disparity between the all-powerful Tyrell Corporation and the poorer, bustling streets with diverse populations. This is reflective of the context during the film's production, that being 1980s America, in which there was a large economic recession which caused unemployment rates that were the highest in 6 years, furthering the financial disparity between the upper and lower classes. According to Irons, such rates led to lowered income, particularly for those in the working class, as they suffered. Japan also experienced a surge in technological development, allowing them to surpass America in many ways. Upgrade displays a futuristic dystopia in which smart technology in the form of highly complex artificial intelligence and cybernetic augmentations are widely available to the public. It is based on the technological context of the 2010s regarding the increase in artificial intelligence, autonomous agents, and associated technophobia. According to friend, scientists and engineers fear the construction of an artificial general intelligence that is smarter and more powerful than us. Many recognize the potential of such technology, but also acknowledge the dangers, as an AGI could, quote, spell the end of the human race, unquote. Many of the larger technological corporations have benefited from such development, while many in the working class have been left behind. Both films are inappropriate for such discussion, as they implement several conventions of the cyberpunk genre, including powerful technological giants juxtaposed with extreme violence, drugs, and poverty, to create the dichotomy of high-tech, low-life, and show that even with technological improvements being present, they are not available for everyone. There is also the inclusion of an outsider as a protagonist who displays qualities of an anti-hero, which allows the directors to explore the dangers of technology and form a relevant social allegory. The stylistic portrayal of the dystopian society creates the dichotomy of high-tech and low-life. Quote, the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed, unquote, is quite representative of this. It indicates that even with the technological developments, an overall improvement of the quality of life for everyone is not guaranteed. It creates a juxtaposition between the gigantic corporations and the common civilians who suffer from poverty, which represents a dystopia. This is available through the setting, which, according to McGrail, is the physical location in which scenes take place in the film. It is influenced through lighting, color, and the overall atmosphere, and communicates information in a visual manner, deepening the audience's understanding of the diegetic universe and its problems. Scott represents his dystopian Los Angeles through the contrast of highly affluent and developed settings against those that are hardened, underdeveloped, and crowded. This is evident in settings such as Tyrell's home. Heavy amounts of practical lighting are employed to create a brightly lit setting. They also carry a developed and affluent atmosphere, which indicates the societal improvement because of the immense technological upgrades. On the other hand, areas such as the dense and decrepit marketplaces and the streets employ low-key lighting techniques and have a rundown atmosphere, indicating their neglect even with such advancements. The dichotomy of high-tech and low-life is created when the two are juxtaposed, thereby upholding conventions of the cyberpunk genre. This contrast displays the dystopian nature of the society, showing that while the future of advanced technological here, not everyone has access to it and not everyone can benefit from it. Scott uses this to highlight the issues of his society, as many in the upper class benefited from the technological growth seen in the 1980s, yet many in the working class suffered from the recession. Whannell similarly represents his dystopian futuristic society through the juxtaposition of various settings within the film. Upgrade settings are characterized by their overall design and color, which indicates their access and benefits from the futuristic technology. This is evident in settings such as Aaron's and Fisk's house. Both are minimalist in nature, employing low-key lighting techniques and display a black color base with neon and unnatural colors such as red and green. This highlights their high-tech and wealth, indicating their prosperity as a result of the futuristic development. On the other hand, settings such as New Crown and the Old Bones Bar are crowded and display a more rustic color palette, including deep browns, and employ mellow, practical lighting that is as natural as possible. This suggests a lack of improvement in the area and the respective quality of life. Similarly to Blade Runner, the dystopian nature of the near-future society is highlighted when these two are juxtaposed. The dichotomy of high-tech, low-life is presented and thereby upholds the genre, while also presenting an allegory regarding the implications and dangers of such technological development in a capitalist society. Many in the upper classes have benefited from the smart technology, and their quality of life is improved, while others are left behind. The implementation of a protagonist who is an outsider and an anti-hero, the director's use of characterization to create a low-life part of the dichotomy and the society which upholds the cyberpunk genre. Quote, they have an anti-authoritarian attitude and are subversive in nature. Anti-heroes are considered as protagonists who do not possess the characteristics of a traditional hero. They act in somewhat immoral or unethical means in order to achieve their end goal. Rick Deckard in Blade Runner is highly representative of this character type. He's one of the few Blade Runners of the Diejet universe responsible for executing, or rather retiring, any replicants who escape the off-world slave colonies. Even though he is following orders, he is murdering sentient beings who just wish to live a full life, thereby making him an anti-hero. According to Scott, Deckard is a replicant, making him an outsider and a subversive character in a human society who hates such technology. Both statuses as an anti-hero and outsider are highlighted through the use of blocking. Deckard is constantly separated from other humans within the frame. He's only close to characters such as Rachel, another replicant who is also an outsider. His anti-hero status is also represented through the use of blocking, which is apparent when he is retiring replicants. Deckard is either the only one in the frame or secluded from the larger crowds, which highlights the morally and ethically questionable nature of his actions. This upholds the conventions of the cyberpunk genre, as Scott highlights the gritty and dangerous part of the high-tech, low-life society. He explores the subversive side of the Diejet universe, which allows him to comment on those rendered as outsiders because of the economic recession. Gray Trace is also representative of the outsider and anti-hero. He is a mechanic and a technophobe, rendering him a subversive character in a world of high technology. Even though his crusade of revenge is done with good intent, he, or rather STEM, is murdering people in violent manners, making him an anti-hero. Buñuel makes use of techniques that are similar to Scott. Gray is separated from others within the frame, which is most evident when he is with those who have embraced technologies such as Asha and Aaron. This indicates his status as a technophobe and an outsider in his society. The blocking is also present during his descent into an anti-hero. The more STEM takes over, the more Gray loses his humanity and is separated from those who support him, such as Pam and Detective Cortez. This represents his descent into an anti-hero and eventually a victim of an artificial general intelligence. This displays the dangers and potential harm which could come from our developing reliance on artificial intelligence and smart technology. Buñuel forms a social allegory in which he can highlight such dangers and comment on his current society. Cyberpunk focuses on displaying the dangers of technology to show the negatives of a high-tech society. These often make up a majority of the social allegory, as it highlights the potential issues present in the film's cultural context. Blade Runner focuses on the dangers of technology and employs distinct cinematographic elements to portray them. Scott makes use of impersonal and personal shot types to highlight the loss of humanity and morality as a result of the film's novum. The impersonal cinematography consists of medium, long, and wide shots. It is evident when Deckard is hunting the replicants. The scenes are given a distant feel and are void of any emotion and thus humanity, which indicate that the presence and perceived threat of the advanced technology bring out the worst in humans. Conversely, the personal cinematography consists of medium close-ups and close-ups. This is seen during character confrontation and conversations with humans and replicants alike. The cinematography highlights their emotions and creates an intimate relationship with the audience, suggesting that the replicants are just like their human counterparts, at least in terms of their psychological and humane aspects. This implementation of cinematography enables a representation of the dangers of technology in society, upholding the conventions of the cyberpunk genre. As a result, Scott can explore ideas such as the implications of a highly capitalist nature on our humanity, especially during times of technological development and economic recession. Upgrade specifically focuses on the dangers of artificial intelligence, especially when they take full control. This slightly differs from Blade Runner, as Buñuel focuses on the technology taking over and controlling humans rather than inciting unethical actions. Buñuel employs similar techniques as seen in Blade Runner to highlight Gray's gradual loss of humanity because of STEM. The impersonal cinematography again consists of medium, long, and wide shots. Gray's emotions and personal features are no longer the focus of the scene, suggesting that he is under the full control of STEM and no longer completely human. On the other hand, the personal cinematography consists of medium close-ups and close-ups, which focus on Gray's emotions, showing his human side. These two are juxtaposed to show Gray's internal conflict and highlight the dangers of technology as he slowly loses control to STEM and fights to regain it. This is evident in the progression seen in the fight scenes. In the first two, both styles are present, which suggests that while STEM has some influence over Gray, he is mostly in control, as evident by his emotional reactions highlighting his humanity and initial rejection, as well as his slight acceptance of the novum. However, the third fight and the rest of the film are mostly made up of medium, long, and wide shots, which indicate that STEM has taken over complete control. The scenes are void of any emotional connection, highlighting the fact that Gray has lost his humanity and entirely replaced by an artificial general intelligence. This is pertinent to the film's allegory and context, as Buñuel is exploring the dangers of a highly advanced AI and smart technology and people's reaction to it during a time in which it could be a very possible reality Even with the 36-year difference between the two films, the stylistic features evident in the setting, represented by the color and design, blocking, and combination of various styles of cinematography are implemented in similar manners with effects that are just as identical. In both films, they are used to display the conventions of the cyberpunk genre to form an effective social allegory to comment on the dangers of technology and technophobia within their cultural context. The only notable differences present between the two are the specific social allegory, which can be attributed to their largely dissimilar context of production.